Welcome to a quick video where I'm going to show you the basics of how to get started with portals. So first of all, once you get to the website, which is here, you will click sign in top. And what you can do is sign in with an email address. If this is your first time, you can set up a new sign in by entering an email address and password. You click sign in and it will create your account or sign you into your account. From here, you'll have an area called My Spaces. And if you haven't started before, you won't have any spaces, but you can create new ones. So if you click on the create new, you get to choose from different templates, and these templates are different environmental settings that you can have for a game setting or an experience. So we're going to choose a volcano park just to test this out. So just give it a name and then you just press create space. And once you've done that, it will load up a space. If this is your first time using portals, once you're signed in, it may come up with this warning talking about your frame rate. It may detect a high or a low frame rate. I would advise clicking yes on this, and it'll bring up the graphics and audio options. And what you can do here is change your settings depending on your computer settings. A tip here, if you go into your desktop settings and look at your graphic options, it's a good idea to check what graphical settings are set up for your internet browser that you're using. Okay, let's get back into this. So once you've got that set up, I would close that down and you can just enter your name and then press enter, and then we're into the space. If we wanted to change any settings, such as our graphic settings, we click on this button here. We can go back to the graphic settings if we need to, but there's other alternative options. These are very useful. So controls is a good one. This will give you all the information that you need to know how to control your character and while you're doing building or game creations. So if we go back to that, there's also space options. These are quite important as well. We won't go through them in this tutorial, but for now we'll close that. The other tool that we have here is this tool icon here. If you click on that, what it does is open your inventory, and this is a list of all the preloaded assets that you can get on portals, as well as some other specific options. And if you just scroll through these, so I'm just going to choose one here just before we do anything, just to show you how easy it is to load it in. So I'm just going to click that, and then with my mouse I can move it around and just click my mouse again, and it will just put the item there. And we can do one more, this plant as well, same thing, move around and I can plant it there. I do suggest looking through these, just having a look at what you could use to build up your space. But for now I'm going to close this down and just show you the player movement. So you can either use your keyboard for movement, or you can actually plug in a controller, and a controller can be used for movement as well. The movements are really simple for a gamepad, so I'll just explain the movements for your keyboard on your computer. W will move you forward, S will move you towards the screen, D right, and A left. You can press spacebar and that will jump. There is another mode that you can use for movement. So if you press B, you go into free camera mode, and this is then not linked to your player. So we just press B, it will go back into the character movement. I just want to show you a few basic editing tools. So if you click on the tool item again, and as you see, when you hover over an item, it turns yellow. Now if you click on this, you can then move it again, and then click it or place again. If you hover over it, you'll see this arrow here. If you hold it, you can actually enlarge, make it bigger and smaller, the item. Now if you want to make this a bit more controlled, you can actually go away from the grab icon and use the different icons that are down here that allows more control of your objects. So if we click on this one, this allows us movement in 3D space along certain axes, like so. This one allows rotation, so you can rotate along these 3 axes. This one allows growth, but only along one specific axis, so it's quite good for specific manipulation, as you can kind of see here. We also have this area here that allows you to enter values manually. For example, if I click on here and I press 180, you see how the item rotates. If you right click the item, there's some other options that you can use. So you can delete the item, you can duplicate the item, you can check out its settings. So if we right click again, you can attach an item to another item. So for example, I'll attach it to this palm tree. So then when I grab this palm tree, they're both attached together. And if I right click this again, you can also lock the item. So this means that I can't accidentally then, though I'm trying to click on it, I can't click on it, so that stops accidental moves. And lastly, there's 2 other options which won't be covered in detail here, but it's important to note that these are the main basic elements that are used to make interactive elements within portals for such things as if you are developing games. So you have interactive studios and basic interactions. Basic interactions will allow you to interact with an item and allow it to do something. So you have a trigger, for example, if you wanted to push an item and then you want that item to do something. So fall over, for example, you can do that using basic interactions. With Interactive Studio, it's a more complex way of being able to develop interactions within the game that may require more than one item. So for example, if you wanted to chop wood and you wanted the player to pick up an axe and then the axe to move and also chop a tree and then the tree fall down, you could do all of that stuff linked through Interactive Studio by setting up specific triggers and specific effects that allow these actions to happen. So in that case, the combination of Interactive Studio elements and basic interaction elements makes this a very powerful tool set to design games with various levels of interactions. That was a quick overview of setting up your portal spaces and the basics of movement and editing. I suggest playing around, having a look through the tool set and giving yourself a chance to have a look through everything that Portals has to offer. Thank you.